Hello, and welcome to the Black Bridge Mindset Podcast, where culture, entrepreneurship, and business intersect to fuel inspiration. This podcast celebrates the power of diverse voices shaping the future of business. So, whether you're building a business, breaking barriers, or just looking for some serious inspiration, you're in the right place. The Black Bridge Mindset, where culture and entrepreneurship collide. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whenever and wherever you're listening, you found us. This is the Black Bridge Mindset Podcast. We want to thank and welcome everyone for entering in. My name is CJ. I'm one of your co-hosts. Just a little bit about myself. I am an engineer and estimator by trade. Been asked to be a co-host on the podcast in the evenings. And I'm just originally from Paducah, Kentucky, but I'm coming to you live all the way from Columbus, Ohio. I'm sitting here with two of my best friends, Mr. Ken and fellas. If you'd like to introduce yourselves, please feel free.
Hey everybody, this is Ken, coming to you from Atlanta. Suffering a little bit from allergies. Please overlook my voice right now. You might see me hop off camera, but all good. It's a good start to the week. It's a little cold here, but it's going to warm up. Excited today for our guests. Looking forward to a great conversation.
Out of curiosity, did you get the same storms and stuff that we got? Because they were saying you all supposed to get tornadoes.
We did. It was really bad hail. The electricity was out for a bit. Tons of trees down across like roads and highways. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So the temperature dropped about 20 degrees from one day to the next.
Oh, dude, here.
Yeah. Even today, it was cold today. I walked in the house and the temperature said it was like 64 degrees. So I had to kick the heat back on. What's crazy is that tomorrow it'll be like 75
Wait. You said it was 64 degrees, but you had to turn the heat back on.
because it was 64 degrees in the house.
Okay. I thought you meant outside. I was about to say.
Well, 64
You haven't
degrees.
been gone from the Midwest or Northeast, whatever you want to call Pittsburgh that long.
Listen, I become a baby now that I don't live where it's cold anymore. The winters here are short. We do get some cold days most of the time. The weather's mild. It's nice. It's going to start getting hot here soon anyway. Yeah. Whenever we were home, whenever we were back in Pittsburgh for my birthday in January, I was losing it because it was way too cold. Everybody should have to live like that.
You did it you did it long enough.
Mike, you want to introduce
All right.
yourself?
Yeah, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I was gone for about 2 or 3 minutes. I don't know what happened over here, but I'm happy y'all just kept on rolling without me.
Well, we got this.
Y'all professionals. I love it. Yeah, my name is Mike Levitt. I'm over in Chicago, one of your co-hosts of Black Bridge Mindset. And yeah, this week, today is only Monday and it feels like it's a Wednesday. I am exhausted, but I said, you know what? I am going to show up and I'm going to bring the energy and I'm going to do my thing because that's what George deserves and that's what y'all deserve. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm going to make it. But I'm definitely going to bed early tonight and we'll see how that looks tomorrow morning. Start all over.
And on that note, I guess we can go ahead and bring in our guest, our illustrious guest. Today, we're sitting down at the intersection of culture and entrepreneurship with one of the coolest gentlemen from Paducah, Kentucky, Mr. George Ross Jr. George is the mastermind behind the House of Ross Coffee Bar and Cigar Lounge. His passion lies in providing a relaxing utopia where you can slow down, unwind, and converse over a flavorful cup of coffee, an easing cocktail, or a soothing cigar. We'll tap into George's inspiration for opening his coffee shop, what steps he took to open his business, his future plans for the shop, and other exciting topics as well. And with that and a nice drum roll, we want to bring in the Mr. George E. Ross Jr.
Let's go.
Hello,
Welcome.
fellas. Thank you for the
evening.
invitation. Chris, man, it's wonderful, man, seeing you do your thing. It really is. And then, too, even better to know, as you mentioned in the beginning, a couple of your friends on a journey like this, that brotherhood is something that's much needed. The support is, you can't put a dollar amount to it.
And
The
that's
ability
what
to
your shop's
support.
built on, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Truly is. Long time family history, being here at the corner of 13th and Monroe in Paducah, Kentucky, 227 North 13th Street, North Side, representing Paducah.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Representing.
remind me. Go ahead. And you mentioned your location. That's where Whalers Catch used to be, isn't it?
This is across the street.
Okay. All right. I got you.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's across the street. Yeah.
Listen, right in the neighborhood in the good old days in my past.
Yes.
I feel like once this goes out, people are going to listen and they're like, Paducah? What the hell is a Paducah?
Yeah, that's what everyone says. And then the next thing you know, they're visiting. Hey, I've got
Exactly.
yeah, I need that experience. Yes.
I'm just going to share, and anybody from home that's listening to this, I'm not going to mention any names, but some people like to tell me, not I'm from Paducah, but from Paducah. So if you hear that term, it's a long history of that, but they're going to learn tonight.
Yeah, and after that intro, I feel like I need to hurry up and get on down there and have some be in a cigar. I don't even smoke cigars, but I've smoked a couple with some friends at like weddings and things like that. So I'm excited to hear about you, your business, and your journey. So if you want to get us started, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came up with the House of Ross Coffee Bar and Cigar Lounge.
I'm going to tell you, I've owned and operated several different businesses over the years. The coffee shop for me was the very first plan I ever wrote. My brother, Gerald, I'm the oldest of 7. My brother, Gerald, he actually opened the first Black-owned shop here in Paducah. It's called Groove back in the day. So just helping him at that time. And it was one of those kind of things where really he was beyond his years, meaning his idea. And the idea and the concept for him with Groove Theory was one of my favorite movies is Love Jones. So I wanted to just steal that entire aura of that movie, being that true vibe there. So then I just took my ideas, and then too, just you got to think when I wrote that business plan, it's back in '91, and putting it on the shelf and picking it back up. But over the years and time, just constantly, my thing was to hone my craft. Whatever I do, I wanted to do it with excellence. So I really wanted to and then at the same time, the cigar portion of it just started to evolve with me then. And then more and more I studied just the coffee bean itself and the origin of the coffee bean. Then I started at the same time, I'm looking at my Dominican brothers and sisters and how they really paired coffee and cigars together. That's where the concept for the House of Ross Coffee Bar and Cigar Lounge came about. It's just appreciating and loving our culture and to enjoying those two experiences together. And it's just meshing them together. And then the whole thing of really having what we call the Ross experience. It's one thing to talk about Black excellence. It's another thing to walk in Black excellence. So that's one thing is what we really wanted to do was to truly walk in it. And then to the note that we can enjoy and we appreciate a great cup of coffee. Not just a good cup of coffee, but a great cup of coffee. Also put it in my neighborhood. My parents still live across the street from the shop. My dad, the location of the House of Ross, my dad and granddad, they owned and operated an automotive and cleanup shop right here. And so with my construction background and owning a construction company, what we did is we transformed the location and to be what we call today the House of Ross. And that's what kind of also gave it its name. My dad and granddad were here. The building itself is a staple within the community. I wanted to maintain and keep it here. So, as we bridge the community one cup at a time. Oftentimes we think of the South being divided, but that coffee and that conversation we had with our neighbors, the people in our community, just being able to bend, not break. And at times when your conversation is safe, no matter what your political, whether you're blue or red, to understanding that the comfort in being able to do that in a way that it's not judged, it's respected. Also, we look at so many different ways we divide ourselves within our community. You know what I mean? We Baptists, we Methodists. You know what I mean? You're a traveling man, you're a non-traveling man. You know what I mean? The divine nine is oftentimes divided. So it's just really, I wanted to create an atmosphere where those barriers was taken down. Meaning you felt comfortable in your skin. I've come to truly understanding living my truth, there's things that I like and don't like on both sides, but two, to be able to have those conversations that are well respected, appreciated, and yes, they're judged, but they're judged in such a way that when we leave, it's still the utmost in respect. At the end of the day, we want to provide for our family the same way you want to provide for your family. We want to love who we want to love. We want to appreciate whom we want to appreciate. We have family members who we don't like, and then there's ones that we love to death. And at the end of the day, we're still God's children. And I really just placed that on my heart. And then for me, it's also, more importantly, living out my purpose. My purpose is right here in Paducah, Kentucky. And I love it, and I appreciate that.
I love the community that you're building in the coffee shop. It reminds me of just almost like going to a barber shop, right? Where everybody gets together, you can commune and you're able to shoot the shit and talk about any and everything. But at the end of the day, everybody, they leave with knowledge and everything else. And you don't leave pissed off or bitter because you're red, you're blue, you believe in this, you believe in that. So I think you creating something like that is awesome. One of the pillars of Blackbridge Mindset is to provide some insight, knowledge, and consultation to young entrepreneurs out there who are looking to build their own business. And one of the things that you mentioned is that you wrote a business plan for your business. Can you speak on like how important that was for you to have that business plan in order for you to get to where you are today?
Yes. And with that business plan, one of the things that we do here at the House of Ross is we have Small Business Mondays. With Small Business Mondays is entrepreneurs, oftentimes that place to vent, but then to also get some insight and some knowledge on some simple things. So going to the business plan part of it, knowing that business plan will change and it will evolve. As I mentioned, that business plan was in 91. In 91, we didn't see the internet as we do today. Media isn't the way that it is. There was no social media, so to speak of. Our biggest thing then actually was, never forget taking a business communications class, and it was over email. So now we're having these teleconferences. So just the way in which it has evolved and it has changed in so many ways. And with that, my business plan had to change and evolve as well. When I first wrote it, some of the places that I was looking at to be able to purchase teas and coffees, they don't even exist anymore. A lot of the machines and equipment. But then too, I never let go of that dream. And then too, I also wanted to hone in on being a great barista. And that's the person curating those coffee drinks. I wanted to do that well, so and with excellence. So, in saying that business plan, it was constantly evolving, but also as it evolved, even to the finances, those things within your business plan, the way in which you market within that business plan, the way in which, even I changed locations. Then at the time, I wasn't thinking of putting it here because my dad and granddad was here. I was looking at other locations. I was thinking more of a mall style location then, but we don't visit malls the way that we did in 91. So you have to be willing to and be prepared for change with that business plan.
Nice. I'm curious, along that same lines, you mentioned you wrote your business plan in 91, which you were well ahead of the curve, clearly. You had that already in place. What were some of your biggest challenges in actually getting the shop off the ground? I know you took care of the construction and all that stuff, but what types of things, challenges did you face with the city of Paducah, getting your certificate of occupancy and things like that?
That was very challenging. It was because what you're doing is you're selling an idea to a community, and then too, the building had been occupied a certain kind of way for a very long time. Before my dad and granddad owned the building, before they took ownership, it was actually an old bar. And so the building itself dates back to pre-flood, what we call pre-flood here in Paducah. There was 1937 flood that flooded the entire city. So the building dates back pre-flood. So it was built in 1932. So when you think about that, the way in which structurally and things had to change, but also I tell people that it's like Noah creating the ark. In biblical terms, you took a very long time in building. It took him over 80 years to build that ark. And then you think of even the ark, we'd never seen rain before. In those challenges, you're trying to tell someone how in which you're going to create. I can visualize what I want to do, but it's difficult for me to articulate that vision. I see it, but then to be able to tell you is something else. I have to just do it. But in this case, you literally have to sell this idea. When you understand your plan and your purpose, there is no quit. There is no turning back. You're going to get discouraged. There's going to be some days you're going to throw in the towel. Like what you all are doing right here, right now, you're going to need the strength and encouragement of other friends, family members who truly believe in what you're doing. And you can't I tell people, even baby steps are steps moving forward. Know that some days, hey, you're at a good job, and then there's some days you're literally making baby steps. But when you prepare yourself and knowing what it is that what you want to do, and there too, I just can't ever imagine having a business and not having God in it. Because you're truly walking out on faith. You're literally walking on water. Everybody's telling you you're crazy. This isn't going to happen. You know what I mean? You know, and I can get coffee at the gas station. I can make coffee at home. You know what I mean? Why am I going to come to a coffee shop? You know what I mean? And then we're black folk, we just drink Folgers. You know what I mean? A cigar? I smoke. We don't do that. You know what I mean? Like we have celebratory cigars. We don't usually smoke a cigar. But the pairing of the two just gives us an outlet and a place to be able to, just if nothing else, just to appreciate the finer things in life. We also do one of our events weekly is Ross After Dark. So every Friday, our mixologist will introduce us to a different cocktail, to a different drink, something that, you know, that's out of the norm. But again, it's for us, I feel like, to change our palate. You don't know that there's some things that you enjoy until you have the opportunity to try it. We give it to you at a price that is, you know what I mean, that would seem more affordable, but also to expand that palate and then to have a different experience. Now you can be able to say, hey, you know what I mean, I like that. I don't like that. You know, this particular tequila, you know what I mean, is really nice. You know, if you're in Kentucky, hey, we're gonna have a nice bourbon, but you can get and you can enjoy a beautiful bourbon right here at the House of Ross. We're beyond, and yes, I enjoy a good crown with the fellas. You know what I mean? I enjoy a nice Hennessy with the brothers. Two, if you've never had the opportunity to have a Weller, bourbon, if you haven't, those different things, if you haven't had the opportunity to try a Casa Azul, it's here. And we appreciate that. And those are the things that, you know, just to splurge on yourself a little bit, but to know that those things that we do appreciate. And I want to more so just encourage it with our young people to know that don't feel ashamed or intimidated by some of the things that you really enjoy doing.
You had mentioned earlier that you wanted to become an expert barista. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey? Did you have to go out and learn about not just how to make coffee, but also what beans, right? What machines work best? All of that. Can you talk about that portion of the business?
Yes, with that, we had tried, one of the things that I have is I have a West Lou coffee bean. Again, it's by a wonderful gentleman, a Black-owned, that creates the coffee right here in Kentucky, in West Louisville, which is named West Lou. Has family ties right here to Paducah, but he roasted our beans. And that's another thing too, is just also incorporating other minority-owned businesses into our business. So we purposely incorporate that. That is by design, I'll be honest, because oftentimes we don't get those opportunities. So if nothing else, you're able to taste a West Lou coffee, which is a Black-owned coffee roaster from right here in Kentucky, right here at the House of Ross. Then by the time I chop and screw that coffee and turn it into a latte, now you get the excellence that comes by Mr. Ross and the House of Ross. That's the beauty of it. You know what I mean? All the way down to the way in which, you know, we triple filter our water, the company in which we get our espresso machine comes from. Those things, it's done, it's purposely. If it's not Black-owned, it was a Black salesman that introduced me to it. He's getting a commission. You know what I mean? I don't care if I'm getting an ice maker or a freezer. We may not own that company, but the salesman that sold it to me looks like me. And it was by design. You know what I mean? Again, I love my Caucasian brothers and sisters. I do. But at some point in time, we have to be conscious of what we're doing in such a way and intentional. You know, we were closed for a month. Within that month, I had a Black cabinet maker come in and he did a lot of the restructuring. There's a Black electrician that came in and did our electrical. And so again, to show and to really illustrate to our community, again, it's one thing to say it. Now let's put it to action. Let's really do it. You know what I mean? And let's not just come in and we're going to say that we're going to make this change just because of a DEI or because of Al Sharpton told you to. No, let's be intentional about it way before then. You know what I mean? Let's live it. You know what I mean?
Right.
T-shirts that are made right here that are sold in the House of Ross. They're created from a great friend of mine, Mr. Tony Burton. You know what I mean? I use our cigar bags. We use, there's a young lady that creates those bags for us. Again, we're very intentional. Our coffee cups was designed by Prosperous Pieces. She does a lot of our designing. My flyers made by Miss Valencia. You know what I mean? At some point in time, we have to love us enough to say, this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
Love that.
I was just curious. I know Ken touched on it and you touched on it a little bit too. Did you take a class somewhere on
Yes,
team,
sir.
whatever you call it?
Yeah, the barista. So what I did is I took several classes over the years. So several classes over the years in barista and bartending. So
So
I
what's
wanted
the-
to, yes, I wanted to be able to, as far as bartend, because we do sell alcohol. So those, I wanted to be able to perfect that craft. Even still, I'm gonna tell you, a local young lady, Miss Avis, she comes up with some beautiful creation, true mixologists. I'm not there yet on the cocktails, but before you had to go sit in a classroom. Now there are actually YouTube schools, and that makes it even better. So you're able to travel around. I attended several different coffee shows on coffees and pastries, just knowing what it is that we wanted right here at the House of Ross. A young lady I used by Grandma's Hands, Miss Shanika Donaldson. She makes all of our pastries. So again, I can't explain it enough of how important that part is, because now I give her business that extra life that it needs throughout the week. You know what I mean? She's a full-time school teacher, but also, owns a great treat business. Miss Brittany Freeman that owns Southern Spread truly helped me in designing our menu and setting up the way in which, because we do serve a light lunch within our community. We're not far from downtown Paducah. So in our business district, now you have a place that you can come to, a true brick and mortar. You come, have lunch, enjoy a nice coffee, excellent tea. And then too, trying to incorporate I do a lot of herbal type things with our gingers, what we call a feel good teas. So those things is where I have to constantly evolve in creating, and then in reaching out to other businesses that, hey, what is it that you're doing? And then too, to that continuing education. That's really real important.
Yeah, and I don't want people to overlook what you're saying on this, because I think it's really important, especially for young entrepreneurs, to understand that the common thread that you've been speaking on in the last couple of minutes is networking, building teams, and collaboration, right? Because somebody may come in and say, hey, I want to start a coffee shop, and think they have to do everything on their own. I have to be the barista. I have to make the menu. I have to do this. I have to do that, whatever. But you've had the wherewithal to say, I need you to be the barista and teach me how to do this. I need you to be the mixologist and do this. I need t-shirts. So I know this guy who makes t-shirts. And you're able to bring all these people together as a team to help you create the House of Rock and do your business. So
I think they call that community.
Yes. And then too, that's where also you go from being an entrepreneur. So you're no longer a hustler. Now you're a businessman. You're a businesswoman. Now you're evolving. You're only as good as the other people around you. I can't do it all. Yes, all the way down to when you come into the House of Ross, some things are intentional. Very intentional in a sense of when you come in, as you can see in the background, black chairs. That's not for no reason. I want you to see an excellent black chair, so that when you see black, you see something that's beautiful. When you come in and you see the brown, you see my brown, that color. I literally had them to scan my skin color to get the color that you see. When you was able to look around the entire building, those are my nieces, my nephews. So yes, I have white sister-in-laws. So I have mixed nieces and nephews. I needed them to be able to see themselves when they come here. But and too, that's my black. So when you say you're black, I need you, and then too, I need you to see that black in an excellent way. I need you to see that black in such a positive manner that now, when you go back to your office at the bank, you're not intimidated by my skin color. when you go back and you're downtown and you're the judge, you don't see my black as being intimidated. When you go and then I'm at the doctor's office, when the doctor sees me, he just sees an individual. He doesn't see my color. He doesn't see no one understand that I have this appreciation for who I am unapologetically. And I respect who you are unapologetically. And with that community like that, we're bridging so many different gaps in individuals, just blending us together. But I truly understand that if I want change, I have to be the change. I have to be the change that I'm looking for. If I'm looking for somebody to collaborate with me and to support me, let me be the one to extend that hand first. And that's where we really that's my true focus and wanting to see us to grow in that manner.
Very nice. George, can you tell me, and you kind of touched on it a bit earlier, and I think I know where you may go with this, but I'm curious, were there any key mentors or role models that guided you along the way?
Oh, yes. It was several. I can't say this enough, but for one, my faith. It's an unwavering faith. Then as a man, I think every man needs 3 different types of men within his life. Someone who is pouring into him, someone he sees as his equal, and then also someone that you could pour into. So within this journey that I'm talking about, I had some brothers, and then too, those brothers that are whom I consider my mentors, they become friends, but they're not intentionally friends. What they are is they're doing just that. They're mentoring to me. They're looking, they're encouraging me, motivating me to be a better person. Then I've got my partner, my best friends that, hey, we can kick it together. You know what I mean? We can do that one-on-one. That's the one I'm going to call when we need to, it's 3:00 in the morning, I'm in a situation. That's who I'll call.
Mhm.
And then there's always somebody else that I'm looking to that I'm able to pull up. Then I'm able to extend this blessing that God is giving me into that next individual. So that then in turn, that's how we continue to live. You know what I mean? We're looking for this long life, but that life is in this circle of life of the people that, and then I had to have. Then when it comes to the coffee game itself, you know what I mean? I'm looking in the cigar game. Yes, I'm looking at the Davidoffs. You know what I mean? And their family and their long history and legacy. So yes, when they come in with style and grace with that cigar, hey, that's how we want to come. We come in different. You know what I mean? I'm looking at the Rocky Patels and the way in which he has branded himself and what he's doing. When I look at, so it's nothing for us to go to Ybor City and down to Tampa.
Mhm.
I mean, that's where it really is. Little Havana. That's where the cigar game is. You know what I mean? I'm down there like a student. I'm pen and paper. Yes, I'm recording conversations because I want to be. Yes, I want to. If I'm gonna say I'm a cigar aficionado, that's what I need to be. You know what I mean? Keep myself as such. If I say I'm a barista, I need to know everything about the game because you're gonna be questioned. You know what I mean? So, and you want to be able to know what it is that you're looking for. You know what I mean? I need to truly identify different flavor profiles. I need to be able to identify, you know what I mean, the brewing process all the way to how hot the coffee needs to be. If the milk is too hot, I can hear and tell if it's steamed too long. You know what I mean? I can smell a coffee from a distance and know whether it's burnt, but that takes time. There was a lot of time. Like I said, in that 35 years, it took me to the House of Ross coming to fruition. That was a lot of practicing at home and abroad. You know what I mean? So you spend it. Yes, it wasn't a vacation. When I was married, it wasn't a vacation that we went on that I didn't visit a coffee shop. I didn't go to a cigar lounge. It just wasn't. But that's just how passionate that I am about it. And then too, the ability to be able to bridge our community together and do it in such a way that is truly respected and adored within our community.
Just hearing your passion in what you do. I think when we actually air this episode, the intro, and I know we probably can't do it because it's copyright issues, but we should play Talking Like I Walk It plan. Just have it loop. That identifies who you are 100%. I have one question. You kind of touched upon this as well, but I'm curious, is there anything that you wish that you knew before you started the business? I know that you said you started your plan a long time before, but is there something that you've come across since opening and getting things running that you wish you had known prior?
But I wish I had known, one of the things that I wanted to do, as I mentioned, I had owned and operated several different businesses, all the way from real estate, which we still hold some real estate. So we have Ross Properties. We have R&D Roofing and Remodeling, which is our remodeling side of business. And then with that, one of the things I would have done is, I come from an era with my dad. He never wanted to borrow any money. He never wanted to on the financial aid. So you think that you're financially secure enough. And then two, it was with the House of Ross, it was because it is such a passion. It was difficult to start because it was a true leap of faith. So one of the things that I would have done for sure is not use my own money. I would not have done that. I would have leveraged my money, but I would not have used my own money. But we used our own money, our own time, and it took the remodel of the building itself was a 3-year process. But that was because too, at the time, I was still on the corporate side. I was still working a full-time job, still, like I said, operating these other 2 businesses, and then creating this one. And then this one comes on the heels of COVID. So that's another thing. You're talking about a leap of faith. I mean, it was truly a leap of faith. And then for me, it was no PPP money. The business wasn't created as of yet. We were still in the remodel. We was at the end of the remodel stage. I mean, now I have this building complete and can't have any customers. We was doing this remodel, I don't know if many remember, but I mean, the price of building materials just went through the roof. And then there was supply just to be able to get different equipment, made it extremely difficult. So I was not prepared for that type of devastation with COVID hitting. I really and truly wasn't. Now, God has blessed us and sustained us, but at the same time, I would have most definitely, and then too, because I wanted to come into it debt free. This was partially my retirement plan to be able to retire from corporate America. This was easing into that but at the same time, I would have most definitely leveraged that. If there had been anything I'd done different, I'd have done that.
That makes sense.
You've mentioned a couple times you're the oldest of 7 children. You have come from a large family. Are there members of your family who are also very involved in the business?
It's a yes and no. Well, I say yes because I'm gonna tell you, man, my brothers are my greatest supporters, and that alone is enough. There's times when if it's nothing more than sharing a post, planting a seed, you know what I mean? They have truly supported me. My parents have, in a way that oftentimes people talk about, oh man, this one doesn't support me, that one doesn't support me, that, this and that. I can't say that. I have a beautiful, wonderful family, you know what I mean? That truly support the House of Ross. My mom, she comes in just about every day. Like I said, my dad and stepmom, they live across the street. Just being able just to see them. And then too, they do it without taking or expecting any kind of accolades or glory from it. You know what I mean? My brother Greg, he's always supporting and sharing. My brother Josh, he's a herbalist. He's always sending me, he lives in Tampa, Clearwater, always sending me different stuff. My brother Gerald, he's in Seoul, Korea. He creates all different types of videos for us to use for advertisement. So everybody's doing different things to really and truly just to help me. You know what I mean? It's times that they just show up. Yeah, and to have that kind of support, it does. That means a lot.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we
Very
are
nice.
getting close to time, but there are a couple of things that we'd like to do before we hop off here. Not sure if DJ told you or not, but at the end, we like to do this little thing where
No, I did not.
You're welcome.
Surprise.
Yes,
Surprise, right.
but we like to do this little thing that we do with everyone that we interview. And at the end, we call it the lightning round questions, where we're just going to ask you 5 questions just off the cuff, crazy question, may deal with the business, may not deal with the business. So I'm going to put up a timer, and you're the lucky person who gets this timer for the first time. But I'm going to put up a timer because we
No
want
pressure.
all of the questions to be quick and short. And we tried this in the past, and when we started asking people questions, they went into a deep dive into it. And we're like, no, that's not the point of the question. We don't want you to think too hard about it. Don't think too much about it. First thing that pops in your mind is what we want to hear. Does that work for you?
That'll work.
All right. So I'm putting up 1 minute, and at the end of 1 minute, we'll be done. I'm not going to cut you off if you want to keep going, but for the fun of this, that's what we're going to do. So as I've done every time, we don't have a soundboard, so I'm the soundboard. Lightning round questions. All right, so I'm going to start the timer after I read the first question, and then whatever comes off the top of your head, and then I'll just go on to the next one. The first question is one that we ask everybody. So what is your favorite book, or what book are you currently reading?
My favorite book would be, and I'm not going to say the Bible first. Then my second would be, it's called The Solomon Syndrome. The third is Tender Warrior by Stu Weber. Then fourth would be Psychology, The Black Experience. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
All right, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 more for you. So if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
My superpower would be the ability to read minds.
Ooh. All right. You're a coffee man. What's your favorite coffee bean?
My favorite coffee bean would be considered a African bean, a true, it's very acid based. So it's a very floral. It's dried. So it's not more so of like a Colombian bean, but it has more flavor to it as far as more like a fruit.
Okay. Your favorite holiday and comfort food?
Comfort food is pizza.
Same.
Favorite.
All day, every day. I could eat pizza every day.
Favorite holiday is Thanksgiving.
Nice. And then last one for you. What is something that you're looking forward to in the near future?
The near future, to be able to not only I want to live this God-given purpose out. I don't want to just say it. I want to live this purpose. I want to be engulfed in this God-given purpose.
Nice. I love it.
With that, I think the only other question that I have left is, can you please share with our audience? I think you've already listed before, but where they can find you, your shop, and then also where they can find you on social media.
The House of Ross is in Paducah, Kentucky, 227 North 13th Street. The House of Ross on Facebook and Instagram. thehouseofross.org is our website. And more importantly, you have to come and enjoy the Ross experience. So we call the Ross experience. It's nothing like that. I truly do is I come in every morning and I welcome the Holy Spirit in. And I want the people, the minute you come to those doors, to be able to, a lot of those preconceptions, that hurt, that pain, that anger, that frustration that you feel from the world, you're able to walk in those doors and you're able to experience that God, that peace that only the God can give. And to know, if nothing else, that you can come here with true safety, security, male, female, black, white, veteran, non-veteran, pet lover, non-pet lover, LGBTQ. It doesn't, I want you to truly know and have that love and peace. If nothing else, oftentimes we say it at church, but this isn't church. This is something that's outside of those church walls that I want you to be able to come here and experience God's perfect peace right here within the House of Ross, and know that, hey, there's something different when I left. And I don't care if it was a cup of coffee or a gin and tonic.
All right. Look, time I come home, I will partake in both of those.
Yeah.
George, there's this thing that at the end of every episode, I have people do before we leave. I know you're like, damn, they just throwing stuff in left and right. But this is something that we have all of our guests do at the end of the show. I call it the Wakanda Peace Pause. And it is just us doing this and smiling for about 3 seconds. And then that's it. And what we do with it is at the end, I'm going to take a picture of it and use that on social media when we talk about the show coming out. So I'm going to count to 3, and we're just going to go like this, smile, pause, and then that's it.
Gotcha.
You gonna do it with us?
Let me give me practice. Is that good enough?
That's good. Yeah.
You got to come in with it. You don't
I mean,
what
you
kind, you know what I mean?
use your interpretation of the Wakanda
Flex a minute. You know what I mean?
All right. Let's give it a go. All right, 1, 2, 3. And there it is. I love it. Thank
That's
you
good.
so much for coming on to our show.
Absolutely.
This is what, episode 4?
Yeah.
Or
Episode 4. Yeah, I
Appreciate
just want to let
all.
you all know this was one of the first persons that I reached out to, and he immediately accepted and was ready to roll. And I appreciate you for that.
yeah,
Nice.
George, thank you very much. This was fantastic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.